Hi everyone, this is Elena, and I'm back today with another card using Concord and 9th, the new release. This time I'm using the Sunshine Turnabout along with Unicorn Awesomeness set and dies. So I have my MISTI. This is MISTI. Usually I use with the Turnabout not dies but stamps, and I have that template there. 6x6, and I'll just align my stamp, and I'll be using some pigment ink pads from a Muse Studio. It's kind of find it easier to use the pigment ink pads because they clean up nicer and they don't stain my stamp. So I like it because actually they don't stain my stamp. So I'm just positioning that, picking it with a little of the MISTI, and next I'm putting in 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of Neenah white 80-pound cardstock that I'll use for my background. So I'm just pressing it out. I have some temporary adhesive, like repositionable adhesive there. So that kind of sticks nicely, and I'm starting with the lightest and going towards the darkest color. So first I'm starting with Margarita, which is kind of limey yellow, like kind of more yellow than lime. So it's very nice bright color. I wanted to create kind of rainbow effect with bright colors and add some sparkle. So I have that one, and then you'll notice on my template I have the arrows on the edges, so I'll be turning where those point towards the left side, so that way I don't get confused and turn it backwards, because I often forget which side I turn. So next I'm going with marigold pigment ink pad. So I'm just inking that stamp and pressing, not hard, but just pressing lightly. And then I'm repeating the process one more time to get better coverage. Because it's larger stamp, it can erase, so it needs like twice. It looks much better. Then I'm going with watermelon. In meantime, I clean my stamp in between the colors. You don't see on the video, but it's kind of cut off so you're not bored. And lastly, I'm going with Bermuda. So that's my background. Next I put my MISTI away. So next I'm using the dies. Just wanted to see how to cut that kind of cloudy border. And next I'll cut as well the unicorn. I don't need the other little pieces. So before I do that, I'll just apply some sparkle Hero Arts embossing powder onto my background that I already created. I'll just quickly heat set that because I wanted to add a little bit sparkle on that background. So there's that one, and next I have those two pieces. By magic of YouTube, I already die cut. So I'm just trying to position to see where the unicorn will go. Next I'm applying on the whole panel Versamark ink and applying some sparkle embossing powder from Hero Arts. I'll use the Hero Arts Wagner heat tool to heat set that. And now once it's dry and melted, I decided to go one more time, so I'll apply more Versamark and more sparkle embossing powder. I'm using coffee filter to catch the excess embossing powder, and with the coffee filter I'll return it back into the jar. So I like that sparkle here. You can really see it in the video, but it's very nice and subtle sparkle. It just looks beautiful. So next I'm using my mini MISTI to stamp onto my already die cut unicorn. So I'm using the negative to position that stamp. And I'm using Versafine Onyx black ink. So I stamp on that scrap piece of paper, and on top I'm positioning that negative, and in it I kind of slid in that die cut unicorn and then stamp on it. Because I used the Versafine Onyx black, I can apply some sparkle embossing powder because the ink is still wet, and heat set that. So I have my unicorn ready, and I think that looks pretty nice. Next I'm using my Copic markers to really quickly color that unicorn. So I'm just using T1 and T0 for the body of the unicorn. and then some blender pen, the colorless blender, to kind of blend out the edges in because there is no lighter color than the T0. Next I'm going with RV14, 16, 14, and 12, or 11 actually, and BG34, 32, and BG11. And from the yellow, the oranges, I'm using the white 38, white 36, no, white 35, and white 32, and the yellow that's like YO4, YO6, and YO2. So I'm trying to match the colors of my Copics with the background that I already created. So I'm just adding some more gray on the body, and then I do that the hair on top of the head. And I'm coloring pretty quickly. So we're almost done here. I'm trying to blend more and kind of have nicer looking unicorn. So I'm almost done here. I'm just adding a little bit more shadows with the T0 and T1, and then blending it with the blender pen. So next I'm using Wink of Stella clear sparkle pen to add shimmer to my unicorn. So we're almost done here. I'll be using black note card. So I created it with 4 1/4 by 11 piece of black cardstock. And you saw me here cutting that panel. I cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4. As well, I cut the width of that cloudy panel, the sparkle emboss panel to 4 inches. I'm adding some mounting tape on the back and adhering it to the main panel. So I have the unicorn here. Here is my note card that I'm creating. Because I decided to stamp the sentiment on the black cardstock, so the black note card looked perfectly, kind of pull everything together. So next I cut a strip of 3/4 inch black cardstock, and I'm stamping the sentiment, believe in yourself. I stamp it twice to have nice coverage of Versamark, to have better embossed results. So I applied Hero Art white embossing powder and quickly heat set that with my heat tool. I'm just trimming it to size here. So it will go from the left edge to under the unicorn leg. So I'll adhere that. I'm using some fast fuse because like that background, the embossed background, it's kind of shiny, so I didn't want to risk to use other adhesive that won't really stick. So next I'm adding some sequins and some raindrops. I'm using the micro tip applicators and Ranger Multi Medium Matte Adhesive to adhere those down to my card. And as the last step, I'll be using the Fast Fuse or the Tombow Extreme Adhesive to adhere that panel onto the black card base. So here's the complete card. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my blog. Bye!